Big news. Ooh, tough language there. Let's welcome in our panel this Friday. It is attorney and Republican strategist, Turning Point USA contributor Erin Elmore, and also the host of Long Island Majority, Sean Farish. Great to have you both with us this Friday. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you.
And I think David Harris is going to join us in just a minute, too. So we're going to have some fun here. But first, I'm going to do ladies first. Erin, the memo states, if you notice someone who has forgotten their mask, you might tell them, hey, you forgot your mask. Please, let's role play. If you hear that somewhere, your reaction would be?
Well, we must not be on an airplane because you don't have to wear masks there anymore. You don't have to wear them almost anywhere. Are we living in 2020 as opposed to 2022? Some people on the left just want to hang on to these mask policies. It's almost like a cult. They feel like they belong to something and they just can't let it go. And by the way, they are not following the science. Studies now are showing time and time again that masks do not help prevent the spread of COVID. They've actually shown that they might make it worse or make you more sick. So this hotline basically is only doing a disservice to those who wear a mask. And by the way, get on with the times. We have moved on from masks unless you're really sick or really ill. Get over it, move on.
Yes. And, you know, the thing is, too, the culture over at NPR to support this. I mean, I guess I never heard of, snitches get stitches, here, but it's just not cool to be sitting there and ratting on your coworkers. David, I'll let you chime in here. I think you can hear us now.
Yes, hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's all about control.
And headline, I grew up there, so I understand that people up there still like their masks. They're holding on to them there, and they want to, hold on to that. But down here in Florida, we are free and very, very happy. Wanting all of you to weigh in on this. Meta, formerly known as Facebook, is now telling their employees not to talk about abortion on their work chat. This is a Daily Mail story, but it says don't talk about abortion. They're seeing an increased risk of it being seen as a hostile work environment if they do. But then one person came out to the Daily Mail and said, but we can talk about BLM. We could talk about trans rights. That's totally cool. David, I'll start off with you. I wouldn't want to work at Meta, but if I did, what do you think about them sort of policing their internal chat here? What are they so worried about?
Well, I think they're worried that any opposing argument or thought behind why science has proven that a baby is a baby when it's in the womb is.
Sean, so Erin, you're a lawyer. Are they worried legally that someone's going to come back and sue them if they read something on the internal chat?
I think they're probably more scared of the Project Veritas style of blow-ups, but I also think they're scared of their bottom line and their shares. They saw what happened to Disney when Disney said, hey, we're going to come out against Governor DeSantis. I think they're starting to get afraid. They realize that they're holding a minority opinion, but the loudest voice. And if they just can silence these voices of the majority, then they can get away with it. So I think they're worried more about the bottom line than they are about the law.
Good point. Sean, just about 20 seconds. Final thoughts on Meta saying, don't talk about abortion. Don't say if you're pro-life.
Well, it's the same thing as the fiery but mostly peaceful protests, right? It's okay if it's coming from one side. It's okay when we do it. We see it happen all the time. It's what the left loves to do. Fiery but mostly peaceful is okay. Mostly peaceful with a little bit of violence is not. No violence is good. There's no place for that in society. I think that if you're going to hamper free speech or you're not going to hamper free speech, it should be a level playing field in the workplace, one way or the other. And what
might have Sean have to do a lunch order for us if I was going to say go to some Arby's or something, because it is one of my favorites all time. So that's a hint there. Sean Farish, David Harris Jr., Erin Elmore, great to have you guys, and see you on the second hour of John Bachman Now this Friday. Very interesting stories happening this Friday. Welcoming our panel back in, attorney, Republican strategist, and Turning Point USA contributor Erin Elmore, the host of the David Harris Jr. Show, David Harris Jr. himself, and the founder of Long Island Majority, Sean Farish. Great to have you all back with me.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having me back.
I mean, she looked very serious, no jazz hands, no Mary Poppins there in her comments, but for her to try to twist this, I'm kind of skeptical. I think she's living in another reality. David, what do you think?
It's again, par for the course for these liberals that just think that what they can say on camera on a news set to America is going to be taken as fact, when now with the social media platforms like TikTok, we can pull up exactly what people are saying and exactly
kind of maligned, and there wasn't a right description of her. I'm not buying that.
I mean, how can she go through her Twitter feed and even think that? But the problem with the left is they think that they can perpetuate the same lies over and over again, and we will just believe them because that's what's happened in the past. You have the left-wing media like CNN and MSNBC that are basically an arm of the Democrat Party. So people like Nina are very protected. They have an army of safety around them that allows them to spew whatever misinformation and disinformation they want and get away with it. And I'm just glad that this ended and ended quickly within 3 weeks, because God knows what would have happened. She was perpetuating the idea that people like her should be able to go into our tweets and change them to, combat air quotes misinformation. And that's really scary. We think we already are operating under a very limited definition of free speech. And if we allow leftists like this to do things like that, they're going to have a major problem. We're going to have a major problem here in America because free speech will be completely gone. Our forefathers would be rolling over in their graves and the First Amendment wouldn't exist.
Yeah, you're right. It was very frightening. Some of the things, like you said, editing tweets, Erin, we can't have that. And tone here with that student still kind of doubling down on denying that she did say, in fact, what he said, she said.
I mean, I would expect nothing less from Jen Psaki. Shockingly, she doesn't have a degree in communications, by the way, which is really sad to me as someone who does. And let's see how she does over at MSNBC, honestly. I think her ratings are going to be just like most others over there that have tried to make the transition, which are very, very poor. I bet you she has a very low score. I think they call it a Q score to evaluate how you gauge with the audience. And she is just so acerbic and so negative and so vitriolic and so nasty. I just can't see her being watched by anyone sitting at home that sort of wants to learn something and better themselves because she thinks she's so much better. And the way that she spoke to that student just shows you how she sees herself and how she sees the rest of the world and how she sees herself being challenged. And it generally doesn't go well.
Yeah, I would love to see that Q score. David Harris Jr., what do you think about Jen, now post-White House, but still with that same condescending tone?
I personally think that Jen Psaki's show on MSNBC is going to tank faster than CNN Plus.
There is a way to access it and to find it. Sean, David, Erin, we're going to take a quick break, but we know Meme Team, one of our favorite parts of the show, is just a few minutes away. And of the week, and there's some really good ones. So you guys are up first. You are the stars of Meme Team. Ladies first. Erin, what do you have for us this week?
Okay, I have a little technical difficulty. I can't see what's on your screen.
Okay.
So tell me which meme they chose and I can describe it really well.
This is even more
fun. Is it the Nina Jankowicz Simpsons one?
It is. Bingo for $100. Okay. It is The Simpsons.
So as a mother of a young son who loves The Simpsons, and as someone who thinks this Ministry of Truth was bonkers and crazy, it says clown show. And what this really is like clowns available. She really portrayed herself as a clown, and this meme describes what happened perfectly. This lasted a whole 3 weeks, and I think this administration should be embarrassed, and Bart Simpson is the perfect person to explain exactly what happened. So eat my shorts, man. I'm glad this went away.
There you go. All right. And David, Erin, a pleasure to have you all with us. Have a fantastic weekend.
Happy Friday.
Thank you so much.
And always the fashion trend here with David Harris Jr. This is a different shirt than you had before. I like it. Keeping us honest here, guys.
Father's Day's around the corner. I got amazing Father's Day shirts. DavidHarrisJr.com.
This is an ultra Meme Team week, I believe. Thank you, guys. When we come back, a story we're not covering, but it is trending.